Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. We were gone to Daytona last week, but the baby snakes certainly didn't stop hatching. We have thousands of them to set up. I'm going to show you guys my baby snake hell. You're watching SnakeBytes. While we're in Daytona, we were having a great time at the reptile show, but back here at the shop, thousands of snakes were hatching. That's right, that's a lot of babies that need to get set up, and we have to catch up on it because every day more and more snakes are hatching. So they need to go into these racks, and as you can see, there's no tubs in these racks, so we have thousands of dirty tubs, and I ain't watching them, so let's go find someone that will.
With all the baby snakes hatching everywhere, they need some place to go. And that means I get the pleasure of washing tubs all day. I've done about a couple hundred so far, but there's quite a bit left to go, so I'll be done in a couple weeks, maybe. Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
While Sam is getting the tubs ready for these baby snakes, and you guys can see there's baby snakes laying all over the place that we need to get set up in the next couple days, it's my job to go through and see what we actually have. So it's super important to have right records so that you know exactly what the mother and the father is. That way you can tell exactly what the genetics are, because after all, when I'm keeping stuff or even selling stuff, it's very important to know the genetics behind things. So what I basically do is go through each tub and look and see what it is. This is actually a really cool clutch here. This is a het axanthic bred to an axanthic hognose snake. And as you can see, there's some het axanthic hogs and then these beauties, these axanthic hogs in here. Again, I know exactly what they are because I know the mother was a het and the father was an axanthic. Going on to the next box, these are actually pretty cool. These are albino het for plasma. Plasma is a lavender diffuse or lavender blood red. And as you can see in this clutch, we have some albinos that are going to be het for diffused and opal diffused. We also have some plasmas, which are really gorgeous, like these guys right here. But again, it's really important that I know exactly what those are because those albinos look like normal albinos. If I didn't know what the parents were, I'd be in trouble. Moving on to the next box, what we have here is a het hypo motley okatee bred to a hypo okatee motley. I tell you, I just love the variety in these guys. They just look so soft and just really cool patterns, so I'm excited about that. We actually even have a black motley in here that I know is going to be het for hypo sunkiss, so that could be a really good breeder down the road. As exciting as it was getting back from Daytona to see all the baby snakes, I also was dreading the fact that we were going to have to set up thousands of snakes, and it was tons of work. So what's something that you guys do that you really dread? Something like going to school, starting college, going to work on Monday morning? Go ahead and comment down below. This clutch is a perfect example of not only record keeping but organization. When I open the box, all I see is a bunch of normal corn snakes, but I know that the mother was a black motley corn and the father was a scaleless. That makes these some pretty expensive corn snakes. I tell you what, these things sell for $3,500 a pair. If I didn't have the records right, they'd be worth about 12 to 15 bucks, so it's really important. People ask me all the time, what's too young to sex a snake? And the truth is, you can sex them as soon as they hatch. Take this clutch in particular, when it comes to hets, usually females are worth way more than males. So I'm going to want to know right when they hatch what the sex is. You can tell with this little baby that's only a day old, I can avert the hemipenes no problem and know that this is a male. I'll go ahead and sex all these animals as I'm setting them up into racks so I know exactly what sex ratio I have. This was a clutch I was pretty excited about. These are T-positive albino Baird's rat snakes. I've been working on this project a while and I finally think I have it figured out to produce really strong babies. And it was kind of interesting because someone just recently asked if I could show a Baird's rats on the show. So there you go, Baird's rat snakes and albinos to boot. Now let's just back up for a second. Record keeping, very important to know what you have and keep organized in that sense. Secondly, you can sex babies as soon as they hatch. That way you know the sex ratio I have. And then I have to talk about the fact that snakes are my business. So people ask me from time to time, when do you actually see these animals available? It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks after they hatch because I always want to get at least 2 meals into them to make sure that they're really healthy before they go out the door. After all, we've got to set these babies up and keep the wheels a-turning. As much as I'd like to keep everything, I do still have to sell stuff. Speaking of what else, let's check out and see what else I've got going on here. This clutch is pretty cool. This is a scaleless Texas rat snake clutch, and this is 100% scaleless. And what's interesting about these guys is the fact that some of the scaleless still have some scales on them. There's quite a few animals in this clutch you can see that have maybe 10 or 20% scales still bleeding through, and it makes for some really interesting patterns. You can see this one almost has racing stripes down it where the stripes and it coming through with the scales. It's really quite interesting. And then this one guy here, this little bugger, is almost 100% scaleless, and that's really beautiful, and it just takes on a really different smooth texture to it. This is an albino to het albino hognose clutch, and I tell you what, I can never get sick of producing little albino hognose. What little beauties. I tell you what, I love hognose, and the albinos are certainly one of my favorites. Talking about hognose, another mutation that I really love producing are pastel pink albinos, and these guys are from a het pastel pink female bred to a pastel pink male. And again, these are another form of albinism, but a little different than the orange albinos. Again, these are called pastel pink albinos. And then I have one real special clutch here that I couldn't wait to show you guys. And this goes on the lines of the pastel pink albinos. But believe it or not, this is the very first snow pastel pink albino ever produced. So again, it's axanthic and pastel pink albino. It's a little bit dirty, so I'm gonna just dip it in some water so that we can get a better look at it and get all this stuff off. Again, this was literally just hatched a few hours ago. And look at that bugger. It is just so beautiful. Wow. I got really lucky on this clutch. Yeah, don't worry. I'll get them set up. Yeah, all those babies will be set up by the end of the day. Not before a power nap.
Brian, you can't nap. You have to set up 666 million snakes before you can go home.
What the hell is going on? 666 million babies? I'll be stuck here forever. I'm so tired. I can't get that done in a day. Lori sounded really weird. I want chicken nuggets. I know. I'll make Chewy help me. Hey, Chewy? Chewy, you in here?
You're the best Puddles in the world. Oh, you're so good. Sit, Puddles. Sit, Puddles. Good boy.
Hey, Noah. Hey, Puddles.
Good Puddles.
Hey, Chews! Chewy, I need your help. Oh, hey, Sam, have you seen Chewy? Ah! Oh, I haven't looked there. Thanks. Chews, are you in here? I need you to help me set up 666 million snakes. Oh, man. So disgusting. Chews, did you take a crap in here?
Goo goo gaga, splendid daddy.
OMG. I'm safe in my office. 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 Hello? Is there someone there?
It's just me, splendid dad. I'm going home for the day.
Okay, so the contest between boas and big snakes, I guess it wasn't any big surprise that boas ended up pulling it out. You guys are doing an awesome job voting, and I was a little sad to see the big snakes not move on, but boas are going to go up against the winner of corn snakes and king snakes. But today, we're going to go ahead and highlight carpet pythons and green tree pythons. Alright, so carpet pythons are really awesome animals. They're a lot like a boa constrictor. They get about the same size, about 8 to 10 foot. Certain species stay a little smaller and some get a little larger, but as you can see, they're an arboreal animal and they're really placid when they get older. Now the downside to them is as babies, they're a little bit nippy and they're not nearly as colorful as babies, so as they get older, they get to be better and better animals. They're from Australia, and you guys know I love Aussie pythons, so these guys are going to be really hard to beat. And I'm talking about all carpet pythons, from jungle carpets to Brettles to Darwins, you name it. So let's go ahead and look at some green tree pythons. Green tree pythons aren't nearly as popular as some of the other pythons and boas just because they're a little bit more advanced when it comes to keeping them. But there's a huge contingent of people that really are die-hard green tree python people. And as you can see, some of them can be really docile, but they're really best to be kept in a display and kind of just leave them alone. A lot of them can be a little bit sketchy when it comes to handling, and the bites from them are really bad. The babies are a little bit finicky too, but once they get going, they're actually really cool. So if you're ever considering keeping one in a display, they're an awesome animal to choose. It'll be interesting to see how they do against carpet pythons. You guys know the rules. Go ahead and comment down below. We'll tally up the votes at midnight on Sunday. The winner moves on. For this week's Comment of the Week, the question was, what do you feel about weird and unique names? And 21 Jason Luck said,
"That was a great show, guys. I knew a grandma that was super angry when her daughter names her grandson Cash Money. Poor kid, his brothers had normal names. On a side note, whatever happened with the corn snake feeding experiment?"
Yeah, Cash Money. Now that's one crazy name. Believe it or not, I really was trying to name my son Wacky Moon. That's a real true story. And as for the corn snake experiment, guess what? We're actually filming the results today, so tune in next week. I want to give a huge shout out to ballpythons.net. Haven't shouted those guys out for a while. It's a really cool community. Until next time, this has been Snake Bites.